Conservation. Forests, woodlands, pastures, and rangelands together occupy almost 60% of global land cover. These ecosystems provide many of our essential resources, such as lumber, paper, pulp, grazing for livestock. They also provide essential ecological services, including regulating climate, controlling water runoff, providing wildlife habitat, purifying air, purifying water, and supporting rainfall. Forests and grasslands also have scenic, cultural, and historic value that deserves protection. But they are also among the most heavily disturbed ecosystems on the planet through activities such as logging, clear-cutting forests, wildfires. These ecosystems are being destroyed at an incredibly fast rate. While we can all agree that most forests and grasslands serve very useful purposes and economic purposes, but most societies also set aside some natural areas just for aesthetic or their beauty or recreational purposes. Natural preserves have existed for thousands of years. Ancient Greeks protected sacred groves for religious purposes. Royal hunting grounds have been preserved forests in Europe for centuries, and although these areas were usually reserved for elite classes in society, they have maintained biodiversity and natural landscapes in regions where most lands are heavily used as well. The first public parks open to ordinary citizens may have been the tree-sheltered agros in planned Greek cities. But the idea of providing natural space for recreation and to preserve natural environments has really been developed in the past 50 years. While the first parks were intended mainly for the recreation of growing urban populations, parks have taken on many additional purposes. Today we see our national parks as playgrounds for rest and recreation, as havens for wildlife, as places to experiment with ecological management, and as opportunities to restore ecosystem. Currently on this planet, nearly 17% of the land area is protected in some sort of park, preserve, or wildlife management area. This represents about 25 million square kilometers in almost 250,000 different preserves. That is an encouraging environmental success story, and might be one of our best environmental success stories. However, in true forms, all good things can't last. We've started to decrease the amount of land that we're setting aside to preserve, and we're starting to encroach on some of our national park land in order to drill or mine. So these are things that need to be watched and monitored closely in terms of making sure that we do not get rid of or release the laws on some of our natural and preserved lands. This chapter is going to examine the ways that we use these different lands, the way that we abuse these biologic communities, as well as some of the ways that we can protect them and conserve their resources.